What's up, RNRers? So we're going to be stuck in our houses. What exercises can we do to keep in shape and keep fit for the triathlon season when it eventually comes back? So I'm going to start with a basic warm-up. Okay, so we need to warm up all the muscles in the body before we start any exercise, and you don't need any more space than your height in terms of area for your room. You're not going to be jumping around too much, so as long as you've got more than a couple of inches above your head, you're going to be fine, and enough space to lie down and move around on the floor. So the very first thing we're going to do is some squats to warm up. Now when we do a squat, it's like we're sitting on a toilet, so we're sticking the backside out behind us, as if we're sitting down on the toilet, and our arms go out in front of us to counterbalance. Now if you look at my knees, they're not going forwards off the toes, they're trying to keep above the ankles or at least just behind the toes. You all see that? So I'm sticking my bottom out and reaching forwards. Now we're going to do 20. Okay, 3, 4. I'm not actually going to do 20 because you don't want to see me do 20, but I want you to do 20. Right, when we've done 20, we're going to march on the spots. So you can do this even if you've got any injuries, as long as you can walk. Okay, you can get your knees higher. Use the arms as well, really pump. And this will get the heart rate working and warm you up. Okay, now we're going to do some mobilisation work, which make sure all the joints are nice and loose before you start the exercise. I always start from the feet and work upwards. That way you don't ever forget a body part to mobilise. So we're going to start with the feet. So put your toes on the floor, ankle circles. I normally do 4 or 5 one way, 4 or 5 the other way. And then I do it again. And then I change feet. Okay, 4 or 5 one way, 4 or 5 the other way. Some people find it easy to do it in the air. I find it easier to put the toes on the floor. Okay, once you've done your ankles, we're now going to go to knees. So put your feet together, your knees together, hands on your kneecaps, and you're going to do knee circles. So I normally do between 5 and 10 one way, and then 5 and 10 the other way. Now you might find or hear some cracking or feel some cracking. There you go, there's one. That is just air coming out of the joint, so that's fine. And then onto your toes and squat down, hands on the floor. Do you hear that crack? That is just the air coming out of the joint and up. Your knees should feel like a warm sensation, and that means they're nicely lubricated. Okay, feet shoulder width. I'm going to do hula hoops. I'm going to do 4 or 5 one way and 4 or 5 the other way. And then we're going to use the body, go the other way again, and use the body to swing around as well. So you're really mobilising the hips and the other way. Okay, now we're going to work on the arms and the shoulders. So we're going to do 10 shoulder rotations backwards. 4, 5, 6, nice and big. 9, 10, and forwards. 1, 3, 4. And now we're going to do a great mobilisation shoulder exercise, a figure of 8. So a big figure of 8 in the air. And what this does is it works 2 different muscle groups in the shoulders and the joint itself. So once you've done about 10, change arms and do a big figure of 8 the other way, like so. This is a particularly good exercise for if you are able to swim just before swimming. Okay, right, the final stretch is we're going to mobilise the neck. So we're going to look over one shoulder and hold, and then release gently, look over the other shoulder and hold, release gently, chin down onto your chest, and final one, very carefully, just look up and try and push your chin forwards like that. Try and do a double chin. You can even move your mouth do a big soppy lip, and that stretches the scalenes in your neck, the neck muscles. Okay, that's a complete warm-up. I'm now going to show you the exercises. So some excellent exercises to work the glutes and the core region. I'm now going to show you. Now, the very functional exercises, we've already done the squats in the warm-up, but we're now going to progress the squats and make it a bit harder. All I'm going to use is 4 toilet rolls. Everybody is nicely well stocked with toilet rolls at the moment, apparently. So I'm going to use 4, and that's all the equipment you're going to need for these exercises coming up. So what we do is we stack 4 rolls on top of each other. You're going to stand with the toilet rolls directly in your middle, but you're about, I don't know, at least half an arm width away from your toilet rolls. Then we're going to squat down, you grab a toilet roll, you jump, place it on the floor, jump round, and you keep moving around, grabbing the toilet rolls, piling them up. Once you've got to the end, you jump round again, oh no, they've fallen down, and you keep going, stacking them up again. And you keep going. And you do this for a whole minute. Ooh. Try to do a correct squat each time. So really push the bum out behind you. Done. So I'm trying to make these exercises a bit more fun than what you would normally do in a gym, because we've got to keep our sense of humours and we've got to keep it interesting. So the next exercise is a brilliant exercise for running because it's very functional. When you run, all your body weight is on one leg as you're running, like so. So this exercise is a single leg squat. We're going to place the 4 toilet rolls on the floor in like a U shape. You're going to put your foot kind of in the middle of the 4 rolls, one leg, and then you balance on one leg. Now, as you can see, I'm already wobbling. That's the proprioceptive muscles kicking in, okay? So that wobbling is a good thing, that's what you're trying to do. And we're going to squat down and we're going to reach for the toilet rolls. Individually, come back up and reach. Now, as you can see, I'm having to reach across there. Then you change arms, over. You change arms and you reach for the toilet rolls with the other arm. And then you repeat again. You go round. Wobbling again, that's good. You might have to hop. And you do that for a minute. And then you change legs again. There we go. Another great exercise for increasing strength, core strength in the shoulders, as well as in your actual core, is the plank. But this is a plank with a variation. So get into the plank position, but on your hands. Okay, you've got your 4 toilet rolls next to you. And all you do is you lift up and you move the toilet rolls across and stack them. When you've done 4, you then move them back. Now the further you reach round, the more you'll feel it in your core. So I could really reach over there, for example, really feel it in my core now. You can see my arm shaking. Do this for a minute. And then change sides. Good. So continuing with the theme of working the glutes and the legs and the core, we're now going to work the glutes. So this is a fire hydrant. Now, some of you may know what that is, but basically you kneel down on the floor you put your hands underneath your elbows under your shoulders. Your knees want to be directly under your hips, so 90-degree angle to your body. So basically on all fours like a dog. And then I want you to lift your leg up like you're a dog cocking your leg against a fire hydrant. Okay, like that. And all the way down to the other knee. Don't touch the ground though. And I want you to do 20 of those. 20 fire hydrants. And you should really feel this in your glutes. When you get to 20, you can do some pulsing, which is a little movement at the top of the range. Now to make this even harder, you can hold as well, as high as you can for 20 seconds. So 20 full, 20 pulses, 20 holds, and then you change sides. 20 full range, 20 pulses, and then 20-second holds. To make this even harder, well, it's a slightly different exercise because you're working the core more, but to make the glutes work even harder, onto your side, support yourself with your forearm, your elbow under your shoulder, one leg flat on the floor like so, the other leg on top, 2 toilet rolls out in front of you. Lift your body up, you might need your hand here to support you, or if you want it to make it harder and engage your core more, you lift your hips off the floor and you tap the toilet rolls with the foot. That is 1 rep. That's 2 reps. 3 reps. And repeat. And I would do 20 reps, 1 leg, then roll over, reposition the toilet rolls, 20 reps the other leg. Don't make the toilet rolls too far away though, because that's really hard work. Now we're going to move on to some ab exercises. So get your 4 toilet rolls. You can have less if you feel that you're not able to do 4. You want to be slightly leaning back. So you're sitting down on your bottom, hands, fingertips facing forwards, hands are just lightly supporting your body weight, so you're leaning back like this, and you're already engaging your core in this position. Knees are bent, feet are together, and you're lifting your legs over the toilet roll. Okay, you can see them shaking, you can see them working. I want you to do 20 reps. When you've done 20, you can pause and do a leg scissor action like so. If you want to make it harder, you do it where you don't actually touch the floor. Like that. And so forth. Okay, so the next exercise, we're going to do a fun variety of a double crunch. So 1 toilet roll, placing your hands, doesn't matter which way up, I've discovered. All you're going to do is you lean back, hands go above your head like so, and as you come up, you put between your feet, take out, and so forth. There we go, I've got it written. Yes. And once again, I recommend 20. You might lose your balance, but just keep going. So I use this ab routine after all my circuit training sessions. So it's quite a simple routine. We're going to do 4 exercises. The first exercise, well, I'm just going to go straight from one exercise into the other. So I want you to place your hands, fingertips facing forwards. Remember, you're supporting your body weight, so your hands are hardly doing anything. They're lightly on the floor. You lift your feet up. We're going to do cycling legs. So about 1 inch or a couple of inches above the floor. And we're going to just push and retract like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. So each pair of movements is 1 rep. So I want you to do 20 of those. When you've got to 20, you're going to do scissors. So 1 leg up, 1 leg over. And we're going to do 20 of these. You can see I'm really shaking now. When you've done 20, we're going to do flutter kicks. We're going to do 40 of these because they're quite easy. But 40 isn't. And then we've done those, you're going to do a V-sit or double crunch, where you come forwards to meet your knees and then lean back as your legs go out. And when you've done all of those exercises, 20 reps, or in the case of the flutter kicks, 40 reps, you repeat another 2 times. So 3 sets of each exercise. You can have a rest after each set, but I recommend you try and push through the burn to keep all 4 exercises without any rest between.